Welcome to Baz Travels. After driving 14,826 kilometers through 24 states and Washington DC, I've seen rocket launches to the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. I've explored Route 66, ghost towns, deserts, snow, and beaches on both coasts. From Vegas casinos to Alcatraz, the White House to Hollywood. Join me for a journey of the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Loading destination. Simulation starting in 3, 2, 1. To look around, move your phone or tablet. Click and drag if on a computer or move your head if using a VR headset. Please like and subscribe.
The Great Lawn works because it solves a very specific problem in city design, which is how to create a space that can handle large numbers of people while still maintaining a clear sense of orientation within a dense and complex urban environment. This area sits within the museum campus, and its placement is not random. It acts as a stabilizing zone between major institutions and the edge of Lake Michigan, which means it has to function as both an open gathering space and a reference point within the broader layout of Chicago. What makes this interesting is how orientation is built into space without relying on signs or instructions. The alignment of the lawn relative to the surrounding city grid and lakefront creates a natural sense of direction, which allows people to understand where they are in relation to the rest of the city without needing explicit guidance. That kind of spatial awareness is not accidental, it is designed. Cities that operate at scale need systems that help people navigate efficiently, and one of the most effective ways to do that is through layout rather than information. When space is structured correctly, movement becomes intuitive, because the environment itself provides the necessary cues. The Great Lawn also functions as a capacity buffer. In high-traffic areas, especially near major institutions, there needs to be a space that can absorb fluctuations in crowd size without creating bottlenecks. Open lawns provide that flexibility because they can handle both low-intensity use and large gatherings without requiring changes to the underlying structure. This creates a system where the same space operates at different scales depending on demand. On a typical day, it supports dispersed movement and informal use. But during peak periods, it becomes part of a larger network that manages high volume of people moving through the area. From a design perspective, this relies on simplicity. There are no complex structures or rigid pathways that restrict movement, which means the space can adapt in real time. People naturally spread out, adjusting their paths, and use the area in ways that respond to current conditions rather than fixed layout. There is also an interaction between the lawn and the surrounding built environment. Large open spaces allow the scale of nearby structures to be understood more clearly because they provide contrast. Without that contrast, dense clusters of buildings can feel compressed and difficult to interpret, but an open field creates visual separation that improves spatial clarity. Even without focusing on visual detail, this relationship affects how people experience the city. The lawn acts as a pause within that system, giving the surrounding environment room to be understood as part of a larger structure rather than an isolated element. From a systems perspective, this is about layering function. The lawn supports movement, manages capacity, provides orientation, and enhances the perception of surrounding structures, all without requiring additional infrastructure. That efficiency is what makes it effective. The underlying idea is straightforward. When space is limited, well-designed open areas become critical components of how a city operates, and the Great Lawn demonstrates how simple elements can support multiple systems at once.
Simulation terminated. Please comment, like and subscribe.